Hey, what is up everyone? This is Drayko the Psychic here. Sorry for not uploading a lot recently. I've been busy playing Smash Brothers. Anyways, this is a deck profile. I haven't done one of these in a long time, and as you can already tell, it is my Orchestrated deck profile. Now, the Orchestrated... no, I'm joking. The Orcas deck. The Orcas deck is basically a music-based deck that focuses on link climbing and doing a lot of crazy stuff. And this is post-Savage Strikes. So that means we are using the new Orcas monster, Orcas Nightmare, or in Japan it was called Orchestrated Nightmare. And as you can see, we got Mermaid over here. There we go. That's the main monster right here, is Orchestrated. So, without further ado, let's get this deck profile started. Alright. 3 ofs, I play 3 Orcas Hardcore, 3 Orcas Symbol Skeleton, and 3 Orcas Brass Bombard. Sorry that, I don't know, this is a step up from my previous deck profile. I think the last deck profile I made was my Goki Nightmare deck. My gosh, it's been a while. Anyways, we got Orcas Hardcore, our level 4 monster. They all have effects that banish themselves from the graveyard, but for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters, except dark monsters. So this deck is mostly dark. Anyways, Hardcore, he banishes himself to special summon a Orcas monster from the deck, except itself. Symbol Skeleton banishes itself to target an Orcas monster in your graveyard and special summon it, except itself. And Brass Bombard banishes itself to summon a Orcas monster from the hand, except itself. And it's a tuner for some odd reason. I actually did pick up a Cyber's Quantum Dragon, and I'm thinking about running Destrudo in this deck. If y'all think I should run Destrudo in this deck to make Cyber's Quantum Dragon if I need to, that card is pretty good in my opinion. Y'all tell me so I can make an updated deck profile and actually test it out. We are running the new Orcas monster, Orcas Nightmare. This is the new card in the Savage Strike. So it's a level 7 with 100 attack and 2000 defense, and its effect reads, you cannot, and its effect reads the following: cannot be destroyed by battle with a link monster. I'm sorry if my voice doesn't sound right. House is kind of cold, even though I like it, because it's not hot, it does kind of ruin your voice. So, cannot be destroyed by battle with a link monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target one face-up monster on the field. You cannot special summon monsters, except dark monsters, for the rest of this turn. Also send one dark machine monster from your deck to your graveyard, except Orcas Nightmare, and if you do, the targeted monster gains attack equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard times 100 until the end of this turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. Another thing is that they're all hard once per turn. So, basically, this card is really good, and I think maybe bumping it down to 2 might be a good idea, or not. This is a 42 card deck, but it still works. I did go against real people. Don't worry, I did not go against any scrubs on Dueling Book. Even though I am a scrub. This card basically sent... the attack gain doesn't really matter that much, but it gets you any Orcas monster in your graveyard just to start off everything. In case you have a way of if you have a way of sending nightmares to the grave, you can not only get yourself an extra dark machine to return to the deck while it's banished, but you can get an Orcas monster from your deck to the graveyard. Not just Orcas, any dark machine monster, and we're gonna get more into those after this one. And the dark machines that you'll probably want to send the most is the World Legacy World 1. This card is busted in the graveyard. Well, first off, its first effect is really irrelevant. If it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a World Legacy from your hand. It can even summon itself, which is really nice. But, however, though, you can banish it from the graveyard to target a banished Orcas monster and special summon it, I'm sorry. And, yeah, this card is really good. Run it at 3 at all costs, and Orcas Nightmare can send it to the graveyard, and which means that that monster will gain will gain 800 attack, which is really, really nice. Not only giving 800 attack to some beefy monster you made, but also getting World 1 in your grave. If you get World 1, it's basically more combo extender. And we do run World Crown because a free dark monster summon is good enough for me. Alright, next up we run 3 Armageddon Nights. We also run 1 Armageddon Night. Basically, they send any monster. No, I'm just kidding. We run 3 Mathematicians and 1 Armageddon Night. In this deck, Mathematician is basically Armageddon Night. Because, yeah, you send a level 4 or lower, but you still get your Heart Pour out, and it still works. And I'm sorry that this common card is not gold rare like these two. I am so sorry. I just happened to own a common at the time when I was trying to get these cards online. So I just couldn't spend money on an extra Mathematician when I already have one. So yeah, this is why I was asking if y'all want me to run Destrudo in this deck to make this deck a bit better. Destrudo is also dark, so I guess that can work as well. In fact, maybe I can replace it with this card, Nightmare Corruptor Iblis. The reason why I run her in this deck is because if you summon her, here's the thing: we run Mermaid in the deck, as you saw earlier, and if you summon Iblis and then you go into Mermaid, you can actually go into Orcas Nightmare, because the Orcas is actually, because the new monster is actually a Nightmare monster, and Mermaid can actually summon it, which is really nice. And you can go into a Galatea afterwards. So basically, Nightmare Corruptor Iblis is basically a Galatea, which is really funny because Galatea is Ib, and Iblis is the fusion of Ib and the Fairy Lee in the World Legacy story. I do run hand traps. I run 5 of them, 2 Ghost Ogres, 1 Ash Blossom, and 3 non-platinum rare effect veilers. I'm sorry they're commons. I'm sorry that they're not gold or platinum rares. I'm sorry. But yeah, hand traps. I was only able to pull. The reason why I only have 1 Ash is because I actually have 1 Ash. I actually pulled it from a booster booster pack at Target. Alright, now on to the spells. We run 3 Orchestrated Return. It's basically a trade-in of the deck. You send a world, or actually it's basically a spellbook of knowledge of the deck. You send in an Orcas or World Legacy monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Hard once per turn, obvious. Next up we run the Busted Field. We run Orchestrated Busted Babble. I can't say it. It's Orchestrated Babble, and this card is broken. If you're going first, I can show you a really cool combo in the next video, where basically you can I'll explain it in the combo video. So basically, what Babble does is that it makes your Orcas Link monsters and your Orcas monsters in the graveyard quick effects. So that means you can activate them during your opponent's turn, and you can even respond and use their effects for anything. It's really nice. And to add insult to injury to your opponent, if it's in the graveyard, you can send the card, except the turn it was sent there, you can send the card from your hand to the graveyard and add this card back to your hand. Really, really nice. The reason why I run 2 is because it will get cloggy at some times, so yeah, just be mindful of that. Next up we run 2 Orchestrated Einsatz. Einsatz is the continuous spell of the deck, and what it does is that when your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can take an Orcas monster from your hand or deck and either send it to the graveyard or banish it. It's a hard once per turn. The card is not really that great, but it is situational and it can help a lot. if your opponent decides to summon a monster, which there probably are, you can send a diver to the grave, and if you have Babel out, you can start doing some stuff. What this deck strives for is making Topologic is a Bomber Dragon, not Gumblar. Thank goodness, Gumblar is banned. Next up, we run 2 machine dupes. I would bump this up to 3, might replace it for the Ib, but I'm thinking about replacing Ib for Destrudo. But at the moment, we have 2 machine dupes. I do have a third one. If you want to run 3 of it, y'all can do it. But basically, you have like 3 targets in the deck for this. You got Brass Bombard, which because it has, I believe, 500 attack. Yep. Brass Bombard has 500 attack. Orcas Nightmare has 100 attack. And World 1 has 500 attack. So you can do World 1, Orcas Nightmare, or Brass Bombard. And if you can pull off Machine Dupe, and you start losing, I just want to know why you're losing. Because if your opponent allows you to Machine Dupe, there should be no reason why you're losing. You just get 2 extra link materials. Next up, we run 2 Allure of Darkness, just more draw power, and we don't care about banishing dark monsters because we can just get them back with the link monsters. And for the 1-ups, we run 1 Foolish Burial, Warlexy Succession, Reinforcements in the Army, Monster Reborn, and 1 for 1. Foolish Burial just to get anything that you need. War Legacy Succession is a Monster Reborn, easy enough said. Reinforcement of the Army is just basically another Armageddon Nights. Monster Reborn, it's just the original. And 1 for 1 to get our Brass Bombard out. Plain and simple. Anyways, let's get on to the extra deck. Alright, now on to the extra deck. We run 3 Galateas, the Orcas Automation. So they all have effects when they're linked, when they're in linked states, and that means they point to a monster or a linked monster points to them. So, and the link card cannot be destroyed by battle for Galatea. And what she does is really good. This is why you run her at 3. You return one banished machine monster, dark machine, from your banished pile to your deck, and you can set 1 Orcas Spell Trap directly from your deck. This card skips Ash Blossom because Ash cannot negate anything that can set from deck. You don't add the card, you basically set it. It's basically Lady of Lament from that structure deck. Really, really nice to have this card. Anyways, on to the next one. We got 2 Longirsus. This one is a pretty good card as well, but there's no reason to run 3 of him. He is Link 3. The linked card cannot be destroyed by card effects, and you can return 2 of your banished dark machines to your deck, and if you do, you can send 1 linked monster your opponent controls to the graveyard. So that means this card can get over anything. It can get over cards that are like cannot be destroyed by battle, cannot be targeted, because this thing doesn't target, doesn't destroy, it just sends it to the graveyard. Sends Leo to the grave. Alright, and last but not least, we have the Orcustrated. I started to add something there. Anyways, this link card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, so he gains all the immunity. And once per turn, you can return 3 of your banished Dark Machine monsters to your deck, and if you do, you can make you can make all linked monsters your opponent controls have their effects negated and their attack is 0. This effect is permanent, so that means the Orcas just have ways of they just have some outs to any other deck that they can go against. And this deck is pretty much a going first deck, but if you happen to go second and they pull out a semi-unbreakable board. I don't think they can break unbreakable boards unless you just get like a god hand. And so Orchestrated can break it. Longyearsu can break it. However, though, I forgot to mention, Longyearsu cannot attack the turn he used the effect. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, onto our other link monsters. We run one Summon Sorceress. It's just basically a combo extender. It's basically part of the combo, believe it or not. Who knew? Now for beefy link 4s, we run one Topologic Bomber Dragon, one Boral Sword Dragon, and one Borderlord Dragon. Yes, this is the Boral Sword that I pulled from Cybernetic Horizon. And I was lucky to get this for like $20. Topologic Bomber Dragon is the main gimmick that this deck goes for. If you get Babel and a bunch of Orcas monsters in your graveyard, you're pretty much set to just Dark Hole your opponent during their turn. Pretty cheesy. My opponents did have a hard time breaking out of it, but I did get forced out. It's kind of easy to force out Topologic. I'm not. But in any case, it's just a hard situation for your opponent to deal with. Boral Sword Dragon, in case stuff doesn't go right, we can just get over everything. Borderlord Dragon, again, gets rid of boss monsters, and just shiny. And last but not least, we run the Nightmare package. Nightmare, Cerebus, Phoenix, and Unicorn, just standard removal, although Unicorn is what you're mostly going to summon, because of the fact that, because it's a dark monster, so you would pretty much be only able to summon Unicorn if you do your link plays. And then the one Mermaid, in case you draw Ivy, you can go into Galatea. Alright. Now for the incompleted side deck, we run 2 Twin Twisters for Altergeist, 2 Shared Rides for any of those Overplus decks, 3 Called by the Graves in case my opponent runs hand traps, which is most likely. 1 Orchestrated Core. This is basically in the side deck because I don't really like to run it in the deck. So it's a continuous trap, and once per turn you can banish a monster from your field or graveyard to target an Orcas or World Legacy card you control, except Core. Neither player can target it with card effects this turn, even if it leaves the field. So it's pretty good. You can, if you run this in your main deck, you can just flip it during your opponent's draw phase and make Babel untargetable, and if another Orcas or World Legacy card would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can you can send this card to the graveyard instead. So it's basically a Return of the Dragons on the field. Next up is Orchestrated Attack. When a monster declares an attack, you tribute 1 Orcas or World Legacy monster, and then target 1 monster your opponent controls and banish it. It's a non-once per turn card, and any monster can attack. It doesn't have to be yours, so it's really nice to have sometimes. And since I can't get a third one, but here it is, I run 2 red reboots, because again, Altergeist. And that's the incomplete side deck. Alright, so that is it for the Orcas deck post Savage Strike. I hope you guys liked it. Please, and if you did like it, please hit that like button and comment down below what you'd like to see next. Also, I am doing dueling book customs a lot, just taking a break from meta, from the real world of Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you want, you can request something in the you can request a deck that I can make in customs, and I can probably take up your request and play that deck. Make the deck and hopefully play it. Make it a really good deck, and I'll post it public if you want to. I also got a deck that I want to show, and if we can hit like 5 likes on this video, then I will definitely do replays of that deck. And if you really want to see more of this, please hit that subscribe button. It would really help me in this situation. So yeah, hopefully I'll make a better video. Hopefully I can start uploading soon. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.